Welcome back to Health Voices. Doctor, many people over 60 accept fatigue, getting winded after climbing a flight of stairs, or just a general lack of energy as a normal, unavoidable part of aging. But what if it's not? What if it's a sign that the heart is silently starving for something it desperately needs?
That is the most important question we could ask today, Sarah, because you've touched on what I call the invisible energy crisis of the aging heart. For decades, my work as a surgeon has focused on the plumbing of the heart, fixing blocked arteries, repairing valves. It's crucial work. But a house can have perfect plumbing and still be dark and cold if the electricity is off and there's no fuel for the furnace. The fatigue and breathlessness you described, that's often not a plumbing problem. It's a fuel and electrical problem at the cellular level. The heart muscle, this incredible engine that has been beating for you over 2 billion times by age 60, is running out of the specific micronutrients it needs to generate energy. Today, we're moving beyond diet and exercise alone. We're talking about targeted, science-backed micronutrient therapy, the specific vitamins and cofactors that clinical research has repeatedly shown can refuel that engine, restore its power, and protect it for the long haul. We're going to count down the 5 most critical nutrients that I believe can truly turn back the clock on your heart's age.
This sounds like a vital new perspective. For our viewers, if you want to learn how to refuel your heart's engine, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss this. Doctor, let's start the countdown. Doctor, let's start the countdown with number 5. When we think of heart health, vitamins like C or E often come to mind. But vitamin B1 isn't usually the first one people think of. Why is it so critically important for seniors?
It's a fantastic place to start, because thiamine, or vitamin B1, is arguably one of the most overlooked but essential nutrients for the aging heart. I want you to think of your heart as a high-performance car engine that runs 24 hours a day. The food you eat, the carbohydrates and fats, is the gasoline. But that gasoline is completely useless without a spark plug to ignite it and create energy. For your heart cells, thiamine is that essential spark plug. It is a critical cofactor in the final stages of converting food into ATP, which is the actual energy currency your heart cells use to contract, second by second. Without enough thiamine, your heart is literally fuel-rich but energy-poor. It's starving at a cellular level. This leads to a condition that cardiologists call the great imitator. A severe thiamine deficiency, known as wet beriberi, produces symptoms that are nearly identical to congestive heart failure. Significant swelling in the legs, shortness of breath, and a rapid, inefficient heartbeat. I'll never forget a patient I had, a wonderful 82-year-old woman named Eleanor. She was brought in by her family with all the classic signs of worsening heart failure. Her legs were swollen, she could barely walk a few steps without getting winded, and her heart was racing. She was already on a diuretic, a water pill, for her blood pressure, which is standard. But something in her presentation just didn't quite add up. On a hunch, given her medication list and age, we ran a specific blood test for her thiamine level. It came back as critically low. This is a well-documented phenomenon. Diuretics are known to wash water-soluble vitamins like B1 out of the body. So instead of just piling on more heart medications, we started her on high-dose intravenous thiamine. The transformation within 48 hours was nothing short of miraculous. The swelling in her legs vanished, her breathing eased, and her heart rate stabilized. It wasn't that her heart muscle had fundamentally failed. It was that her heart's engine was desperate for its spark plug. This isn't just an isolated case, Sarah. Numerous clinical studies published in leading cardiology and geriatric journals have confirmed this powerful link between diuretic use, thiamine deficiency, and heart failure symptoms. It's a known but tragically underdiagnosed issue. While you can get B1 from foods like beans, peas, and whole grains, For a senior on certain medications or with digestive issues, it's often not enough. This is a clear case where targeted supplementation can be life-changing, providing the missing piece to keep the heart energized every single day.
That story about Eleanor is incredible, doctor. It's a real-life example of medical detective work. For our next vitamin, number 4, you've paired two together, vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. We hear so much about vitamin D for bone health, but why is this specific partnership so absolutely critical for the heart?
This partnership, Sarah, is one of the most elegant and important synergies in the entire human body, and it directly addresses a huge risk factor for heart disease called the calcium paradox. The paradox is this: as we age, we're told to take calcium for our bones, but at the same time, calcium buildup in our arteries is a primary cause of heart attacks. So how do we get calcium into our bones while keeping it out of our arteries? The answer is this D3 and K2 partnership. Think of it like this. Vitamin D3 is the gatekeeper. Its job is to open the doors in your intestine to allow calcium to enter your bloodstream. It's very good at its job. But once inside, calcium is like a lost tourist. It doesn't know where to go. It can wander into your soft tissues like your artery walls and heart valves. This is where vitamin K2 comes in. Vitamin K2 is the calcium traffic cop. Its specific job is to activate two special proteins. The first, called osteocalcin, grabs the calcium from the blood and binds it to your bone matrix, making your bones strong. The second protein, matrix GLA protein, or MGP, is even more amazing. It acts as a street sweeper for your arteries, actively seeking out and removing calcium that has been deposited there. Without enough K2 to activate this traffic cop and street sweeper, you have chaos. The calcium that D3 brought into the body ends up in the wrong neighborhood, hardening your arteries. I often show my patients their coronary calcium score from a CT scan. It's a number that quantifies how much calcified plaque, how much rock has formed in their heart's arteries. When they see that number, it's a profound wake-up call. I explain to them that this is what happens when supple arteries turn into stiff, brittle pipes. This process, atherosclerosis, is a direct cause of high blood pressure because the heart has to pump furiously to push blood through these rigid tubes. The evidence for this D3K2 synergy is overwhelming. The famous Rotterdam study, a massive long-term trial following thousands of adults, found that those with the highest intake of vitamin K2 had a staggering 57% lower risk of dying from heart disease. Other clinical trials have since confirmed that this partnership doesn't just slow down calcification. It can, in some cases, even modestly reverse it. Given that our ability to make D3 from the sun decreases with age, and K2 is only found in obscure foods like natto, fermented soybeans, supplementation is, in my clinical opinion, one of the most important preventative strategies for anyone over 60.
The calcium traffic cop system is such a clear way to understand it. For number 3, we're moving to a mineral you've mentioned before, calling it the relaxation mineral, magnesium. What makes it so essential that it lands in your top 3?
Sarah, magnesium is what I call the master mineral for the heart because it multitasks beautifully. It has two foundational jobs. First, it is the guardian of your heart's electrical stability. It calms the entire nervous system and prevents the cellular overexcitability that leads to arrhythmias and palpitations. Second, it acts as nature's own calcium channel blocker. This is a class of drugs we prescribe to lower blood pressure. But magnesium does it naturally by helping relax the smooth muscle cells in the artery walls. This allows the vessels to widen, which directly improves blood flow and lowers pressure. It's working on both the heart's electrical system and its plumbing system simultaneously.
That's incredible, that one mineral handles both of those critical functions. It makes you wonder, if it's so important, why do we hear that so many seniors are lacking in it? And what does that deficiency look like in a real person?
That's the crucial question. Deficiency is rampant for a few key reasons. Our modern diets are often low in magnesium-rich foods, and more importantly for seniors, common medications like diuretics and acid blockers are notorious for depleting the body's stores. As for what it looks like, I had a patient, a 48-year-old woman, who was experiencing hundreds of heart palpitations a day, causing her immense anxiety. Her cardiology workup was clean. After discovering a significant magnesium deficiency, we started her on a proper supplement. Within a month, her palpitations had almost completely subsided because we had given her heart the fundamental tool it needed to maintain its stability, even under stress. And this is backed by major epidemiological studies, like the famous Framingham Heart Study, which has shown a clear inverse relationship. The lower the magnesium, the higher the risk of heart disease.
Doctor, coming in at the number 2 spot is a supplement that many people have heard of, omega-3s, often from fish oil. It's incredibly popular, but there's also a lot of confusion surrounding it. From your expert perspective, what is the primary, most critical role of omega-3s for senior heart health?
If magnesium is the great stabilizer, then omega-3s are the great extinguisher. Their most critical role is to powerfully combat chronic inflammation. I often describe chronic inflammation to my patients as a slow, smoldering fire inside their blood vessels. You can't feel it, but it's constantly damaging the delicate lining, creating a rough surface where cholesterol can latch on and dangerous plaques can form. Our modern diet is often overloaded with omega-6 fatty acids, which can be pro-inflammatory, adding fuel to that fire. Omega-3s, particularly the type found in fish oil called EPA, are potent anti-inflammatory molecules that come in and put the fire out. Their second major benefit is their proven ability to lower triglycerides, which is a type of fat in your blood that, at high levels, is a significant risk factor for heart disease. So they are working to clean the blood while also calming the vessel walls.
That makes perfect sense, tackling both the fats in the blood and the inflammation in the arteries. But when you walk into a pharmacy, the fish oil aisle can be overwhelming. There are dozens of bottles, and you see terms like EPA and DHA. What should people actually be looking for to ensure they're getting a quality product that will actually work?
That is the most important practical question. The key is to completely ignore the big number on the front of the bottle that says 1,200 milligrams fish oil and turn it around to read the fine print on the back. You are looking for the specific amounts of EPA and DHA. EPA is the primary anti-inflammatory powerhouse for the cardiovascular system. DHA is more critical for the structure of your brain and eyes. For general heart support, a combined dose of at least 1,000 milligrams of actual EPA and DHA per day is the target supported by most clinical research. You also must choose a reputable brand that is third-party tested for purity to ensure it's free from heavy metals like mercury, and, just as importantly, that the oil is not rancid, which would make it pro-inflammatory. The evidence here is immense. Major clinical trials like the Reduce It study used a pure, high-dose prescription form of EPA and found it dramatically reduced heart attacks and strokes in high-risk patients. For one of my own patients with stubbornly high triglycerides, we combined dietary changes with a quality omega-3 supplement, and within 6 months, we saw his triglyceride levels fall by over 40%, significantly reducing his overall cardiovascular risk profile. It's a testament to how effective these specific fats can be.
And now we've arrived at number 1. The vitamin you've said heart doctors personally take, and the one you believe can truly add years to a heart's life. This must be incredibly important. What is it, doctor?
It is. In my clinical opinion, this is the single most critical energy nutrient for the aging heart. It's called coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10. If thiamine is the spark plug, CoQ10 is the raw electricity that powers the entire engine. It's not just a vitamin, it's a coenzyme that is fundamental to the process of creating ATP, the body's energy currency, inside the mitochondria, which are the tiny powerhouses in every single one of your cells. No organ in the body has a higher concentration of mitochondria or a greater energy demand than your heart. It needs a constant, massive supply of CoQ10 to function. The problem is twofold. First, your body's natural production of CoQ10 begins to decline sharply after age 40. Second, and this is the most critical point for seniors, the most commonly prescribed class of drugs in the world, statins for cholesterol, are known to severely deplete your body's CoQ10 levels.
Doctor, can you pause there for a moment? That is a staggering statement. Millions of seniors are on statins to protect their hearts. Are you saying that the very medication they're taking could be unintentionally draining their heart of this vital energy nutrient?
That is precisely what is happening, and it's a well-documented pharmacological fact. The irony is tragic. Statins work by blocking a specific pathway in the liver called the HMG-CoA reductase pathway to reduce cholesterol production. But that is the exact same pathway your body uses to synthesize coenzyme Q10. So as you drive down your cholesterol with a statin, you are unavoidably driving down your levels of this critical heart energy nutrient. This is why so many patients on statins complain of debilitating fatigue, muscle pain, and weakness. It's often not just a side effect. It's a symptom of a drug-induced nutrient depletion. I saw a patient, a 72-year-old gentleman on a high-dose statin who was a textbook case. He was compliant with his medication, but his quality of life was terrible. He told me, "Doctor, I can't even walk to the end of my street and back without feeling like I'm going to collapse." His doctor had told him it was just his age. I recommended he start taking 200 milligrams of a specific form of CoQ10 called ubiquinol every day.
Ubiquinol. How is that different from regular CoQ10?
This is the key for anyone over 50. The standard, older form is ubiquinone, which is oxidized. Your body has to convert it into the active form, ubiquinol, to use it. That conversion process becomes very inefficient as we age. Taking ubiquinol directly is like using a key that already fits the lock. Studies have shown it can be up to 8 times more absorbable. To finish the story, I saw that gentleman 3 months later. He walked into my office with a smile on his face and said, "I feel like someone turned the lights back on." We didn't change his statin. We simply gave his body's powerhouses back the fuel that the medication was inadvertently taking away. The research here is extensive. Dozens of gold standard clinical trials have shown supplementation improves heart function, exercise tolerance, and quality of life, especially in patients with heart failure. For a senior on a statin, I consider it to be non-negotiable.
Doctor, this has been an absolutely incredible education. From a simple spark plug like thiamine to the master electricity of CoQ10. Thank you for making this so clear.
It's my pleasure, Sarah. The key takeaway is that your heart health is a puzzle with many pieces. You need the energy from B1 and CoQ10. You need the structural integrity from D3 and K2 keeping the arteries clean. You need the electrical stability from magnesium, and you need the anti-inflammatory protection from omega-3s. These 5 nutrients work on different pathways, but together they provide comprehensive, synergistic support. Your heart has worked tirelessly for you for decades. This is how you give back. This is how you refuel the engine for the long journey still ahead.
A powerful and hopeful message to end on. Doctor, thank you again for your time and your incredible wisdom. And to our amazing audience at Health Voices, we hope you feel empowered to have an informed conversation with your own doctor about these vital nutrients. If this video has helped you, please show your support by hitting that like button, sharing it with a loved one who might benefit, and be sure to subscribe for more science-backed health advice. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these nutrients resonated most with you? Take care of yourselves and your hearts.